Congressman John Ratcliffe of Texas is poised to become the next director of national intelligence. The Republican was grilled by senators during a confirmation hearing Tuesday. President Trump initially nominated Ratcliffe back in July, but he withdrew 5 days later over concerns that he'd politicized the intelligence community. Ratcliffe vowed not to do that, but strayed from the controversies involving the president and the 17 intel agencies. CBS News senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge joins me now. She broke news over the weekend about a major review of these intelligence agencies. So, Catherine, what exactly did we learn about this review from acting intel chief Richard Grenell, and how are lawmakers handling this?
Well, Rena, this review was called for by the acting director of national intelligence. He's the nation's top spy, Rick Grenell, and he's told all 17 of the intelligence agencies to review how they handle and share information that identifies U.S. persons or American citizens in intelligence reports. And they've got a very short timeline. They have to report back within 30 days to Grenell and his staff. And the way this works here is that when the intelligence agencies are, let's say, targeting a foreign government official, in the process, when they pick up their phone calls, their text messages, and their emails, there will be information that identifies U.S. citizens, government officials, lawmakers, U.S. companies, and there's an obligation on the U.S. intelligence community to hide, or what they call minimize, this information unless two sets of circumstances are met. Number one, that identifying information about an American citizen is really essential to understanding the intelligence product. And number two, you have to have that U.S. citizen information in order to act on that intelligence, Rena.
What's the latest as well, Catherine, while I have you? I want to ask you about the case of General Michael Flynn, the former national security advisor who pled guilty to lying to FBI agents. Now they have documents that have come to light. What more do we know about this?
Well, just this week, two House Republicans have called on the FBI director, Christopher Wray, to help facilitate a closed-door transcribed interview with someone called Bill Priestap. Bill Priestap is the former head of counterintelligence during this key period of 2016 and 2017. And he's believed to be the author of these handwritten notes that were just newly released by the federal court here in Washington that document conversations among senior FBI officials on January 24th, 2017. And that date really matters because that is the date that the former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn was interviewed by two FBI agents. And there's one section of the handwritten notes that's gotten a lot of attention. And it reads in part, what is the goal, truth, admission, or get him to lie so that we can prosecute him or get him fired? And both sides in this argument want to hear from Priestap because they want to understand the context of those comments. And then just a short time ago, there was a response from the FBI director. His spokesperson put out a statement and said Christopher Wray, the current FBI director, in their words, has fully cooperated with these investigations, and said certain documents had been handed over relating to the Flynn manner to the Inspector General at the Justice Department, as well as the U.S. Attorney John Durham, who's doing an independent review. But we don't know which are these certain documents, who they were given to, and why some of these key documents didn't make it to Flynn's defense team in the first place.
Do you have a sense, Catherine, if a federal judge is expected to act soon on this case?
Well, this has really been coming to a boil, Rena, for the last couple of weeks. Earlier this year, the Attorney General William Barr tasked this U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Missouri, Jeffrey Jensen, to see if there was any evidence that should have been provided to General Flynn and his defense team, and sort of an overview or a review of the overall criminal case. These records have now come to light, and the judge in the case, Emmett Sullivan, has said that we're going to kind of take a pause until U.S. Attorney Jensen certifies or tells the court affirmatively that all the records have now been provided. But there's a big debate here in Washington over whether there might be a move by the Justice Department to vacate the guilty plea by General Flynn, or whether it simply won't reach that very high bar and he will ultimately go to sentencing.
Catherine, I also want to ask you about John Ratcliffe. It appears that he has Republican support for the nominee to become intel chief here. You know, when you look back at the summer, that wasn't really the case here when the president first nominated him. What has really changed, Catherine, among Republicans in particular towards his nomination?
I think it's a great question, Rena. I think probably a handful of things have changed. Number one, Congressman Ratcliffe has had a chance to meet with key Republicans in the Senate and talk to them about his qualifications for this position. He's made, I think, a fairly effective sell that he's trying to take the politics out of intelligence. And I think you also have to see it in the context of the current acting director, Rick Grenell. As we first reported here at CBS News, he entered this job with a mandate to clean house, and there's certainly no question that he's moved very quickly and very decisively to make a lot of substantial changes at the DNI. And there may be some people on the Hill who think maybe it's a little too quick, and Ratcliffe might move with a more measured pace.
All right, Catherine Herridge, grateful you could join us. Catherine, thank you so much.
You're welcome.